15 pages into the first episode, so it's like,
Any kind of series is a grind. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You both obviously really know that. Was that something, were you hesitant at all about jumping into something that was a huge commitment?
Yeah, I was. I was totally hesitant. It's not it's not what I was looking for. Certainly. Why I didn't know. I wasn't looking for anything, frankly. I hadn't thought about what my next move was going to be after Arrow. And then they found me. They sought me out, and my manager said, told me how great he thought the scripts were. And 15 pages into the first episode, so it's like, because I knew that, I knew that based on the people that was involved, who wrote it, the world that it was set in, how well it was written, that if we could get anywhere close to a palatable deal, that I wouldn't be able to turn it down. And, Stars did all that and more. They've been they've been a really wonderful partner thus far.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little about the physicality of this, because I imagine it's not easy. Your body's taken a beating, I would assume, in this.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Look, you can't fake wrestling. I mean, it's why people say, well, wrestling, well, it's fake. Well, great. Yeah, so is Days of Our Lives. All right. So is Outer Banks, or your favorite guilty pleasure. So is reality TV, for God's sakes. As the biggest Survivor fan in the world, let's not pretend for a second that these things aren't edited and made and put together entirely for television. And yet people like it. That's what these are. These are stories, and it just so happens to be taking place inside a wrestling ring. And in a vacuum, that's totally crazy, but this is something that's been part of the culture for a really long time. And the physicality was real. Everyone bought in. Everyone put themselves through the ringer. Alexander has openly said this is the hardest that he's ever trained in his life, and I'd say the same for me, because in that first episode, I'm out there in trunks, which is just a Speedo. There's no hiding, and so I really had to focus and work on my lower body, actually, my hips and my butt and my legs and quads and hamstrings and calves and all that stuff, because I wanted to make sure that, if I'm going to walk out there with the DWL belt around my waist as I sit in front of the Hall of Champions wall, people have to believe that I know how to handle myself.